Atin pong mapapanood ang press conference na ginanap ngayong umaga kasama ang DOJ Secretary Crispin Remulla. Panoorin po natin ang video na ito.
I just want to talk about our trip to Geneva. Na kung saan nakasama ko si Undersecretary Raul Vasquez sa pagharap sa United Nations. At doon ay nilinaw natin ang government position tungkol sa human rights issues. And we attended actually 3 conferences. The Human Rights Conference, the Conference of the High Commissioner on Refugees, and the International Conference on Civil and Political Rights. And it was a working visit to Geneva that we conducted, a very, very productive one. Kasi it was overtaken by events nung pag-uwi ko, nung Thursday ng hapon, alas 5 ng hapon, ay hindi na napag-usapan yung mas mahalagang issue tungkol sa ating posisyon as a government sa United Nations. So that's the basic premise why I called this press conference. And I'd like to thank you for coming. I'm now open to questions.
Sir, just a follow-up question about your participation sa UN. Sa tingin niyo po, paano dito binago yung imahe ng Pilipinas sa international community? At ano po ba yung gains ng Pilipinas through this activities na ginalawa niyo sa UN?
Unang-una, there was no more resolution passed by the UN against the Philippines, unlike what happened before, which caused the UNJP, the United Nations Joint Program, to be established. Ngayon, we were able to leave the human rights meetings finished without any resolution being filed against the Philippines, which is very important. And at the same time, probably the biggest thing that we can say here is that the Philippine delegation was able to answer all the questions posed about the Philippines' human rights situation, and that we were able to enunciate clearly government policy. For example, that it is not state policy to have anybody killed, di ba? Kasi yung sinasabing EJK, hindi ko government policy yan. We clarified what government policy is all about. And well, issues on red tagging, I think I clarified that also, which are the CPP, NPA, NDF takes offense at, but it's clarified. Basically, the position of the Philippines with vis-a-vis the violations on human rights was clarified, and the things that we're doing to address violations that were committed, because we cannot say that we are a perfect society. It happens, and it's just that state power should never be used. We should never abuse state power. We will not tolerate any abuse of state power, especially from the actors or human rights violations. We do not tolerate that.
Sir, last from my end, na-report na po ba kay Pangulong Marcos yung mga gains natin sa...
I will meet with him this afternoon to report on the gains of the Philippines on the Geneva conferences that we attended. The Department of Foreign Affairs was very happy with our performance. By the way, the issue of human rights defenders was also discussed, and I told the United Nations that nobody has the right to arrogate unto themselves the title of human rights defenders, since we are all human rights defenders here. I think that it's not an exclusive club that belongs to any political party. It is a membership of all, as long as you care about the human rights that have to be respected throughout the world and throughout the country.
Sir, follow na din. Meron po ba tayong mga pagbabagong gagawin coming off yung Geneva experience?
Yes, marami. Sa UNJP kasi, we're working out transparent programs on law enforcement, transparent programs that will lead to having a law enforcement system that is better understood by the people, and that will not allow any transgressions. I think that that's the most important part of it, no? That we are working closely with the government. The PNP was part of the delegation. So was the Dangerous Drugs Board, the PDEA. Kasama yung Philippine Commission on Human Rights. Basta marami kami. DFA, ang mahalaga na nakasama namin doon was the Department of Foreign Affairs because the Geneva Post was the one that helped us. The UN permanent representative of ours, Ambassador Ivan Garcia, helped us a lot, and their team in Geneva. Makikita mo rito that the Philippine delegation as a team in action, which delegation I headed in Geneva during those days.
Yung anti-terror law po, Sec, nabanggit niyo.
Yes, anti-terror law was mentioned, and that we clarified the issues with the anti-terror law because there were many misgivings being bruited about by civil society organizations on the abuse of the anti-terror law. And I clarified it already to them that the anti-terror law was crafted to comply with international standards, and that there are countries which have stricter, which give more power to the state with regards to the enforcement of provisions of the anti-terror law. For example, Singapore, which gives 720-day period of detention, and then other countries which give longer periods of detention. Indonesia, Singapore, Bangladesh. Ano ba yan? There's also Western countries, many Western countries that adhere to the principles of the anti-terror mechanisms necessary to keep their state secure.
Sir, ano man yung pagtanggap ng international community after our defense doon sa anti-terror?
I think it was very well received when we clarified to them that these issues were addressed properly, and that we have a 24-day, 14 days, and extendable by another 10 days period vis-a-vis the other countries which have longer periods. We explained to them these intricacies which actually protect more rights than most other comparative laws that have been passed throughout the world, and that we really took great pains in crafting this law. And I think that I was part of that. I was part of the Congress that passed the law, the anti-terror law of 2020.
Sec, other issue po. Sir,
Ah.
just this morning, sumuko yung ban-an.
Yes.
You mentioned 9 orders nagmula sa loob ng Bilibid. Nung kumontrata daw galing sa Bilibid. What are you gonna do about it?
We'll find out sino. Basta nalaman natin kung sino. We will protect the witness to the fullest possible extent. Kasi, malalim yan. I actually have no knowledge yet, no? Na kanya sinasabi. I want to be briefed about it. And I will ask Secretary Abalos to brief me later. Sa loob ng Bilibid, kung sino man yan, dapat malaman natin. Ilalabas natin yan.
Orders pa kayo kay DG to investigate?
To
investigate, sir, yung nangyari.
to DG Bantag.
Yes, sir.
Ngayon ko lang nalaman yan eh. I just found out now. I will immediately after this meeting, I will tell him to give me a report on this if he has any knowledge already. Because what the gunman said and what the DG knows, we do not know if they are the same. We cannot presume that.
Secretary, other issue rin po. Kamusta po kayo ngayon amid po sa controversy po sa inyong anak? And nakausap niyo ba po ba ulit siya? And
I haven't talked to him actually since the beginning. I've stayed away from the case. I have not talked to anybody. I have not asked anybody any favor. I just talked to a cousin of mine who's a lawyer who will start or has started representing him already. That's all everything that I have to do with the case. I have nothing else to do with the case.
your reaction na po dun sa sinasabi ng ilang mga lawmakers na may special treatment daw po?
No, no comment. I will not comment on that. That's something to do with the case already. I will not comment.
Sir, regarding sa panawagan ng iba na mag-defend o
It will not happen. I will not comment anymore on other issues there. But it will not happen. That is not my call. I am a very honorable person when it comes to this. It's the president's call. And if I feel later on that I am not anymore effective in this position, then I will talk to the president about whatever has to be done in the future.
Pero sir, nagkausap na po ba kayo ni President?
Yes, the moment I arrived, I called him immediately when I landed and I spoke to him.
Ano pong napag-usapan if you could share with us na po?
Well, he just said that he commiserates with my plight as a parent. That's all. And he said that just go back to work because we need you. Sabi niya, we have to start working again in the local scene since you were able to do well in the international scene. We need you again in the local scene to do what has to be done. To continue what we've been doing, what we started doing to reform the justice system. No, no comment. Pero I think I'm calm enough to face anybody about any issue. And if I cannot be baited into to discussing things which do not need discussing from me, because since I have said I've recused myself from the very beginning.
Sir, may bala kung bisitahin yung alam nyo sa...
No comment. No comment on that.
There is another follow-up. At paano niyo consider, sir, case closed na ba yung first lapid, considering the...
We have to know. The charges have to be filed. The conviction has to ensue. If it's going to be a plea of guilty, it has to be vetted properly. The testimony has to come out so that there will be a basis for the police to act on this matter later on. Because that definitely a gunman is not the whole crime itself. It has to be vetted as a whole conspiracy probably. No gunman will be there without a conspiracy.
Sir, sorry, pasensya na sir, balikan ko lang po yung sa anak po ninyo. Nagre-report po ba sa inyo, sir, yung Prosecutor General doon sa sitwasyon or
I have nothing to do with that. He has nothing. He will not talk to me about it. I will not talk to him about it.
Sir, pasensya din po, how is the family? How are you?
We're holding up very well. My wife, my mother, my children, my brothers and sisters are all supportive. And I'd like to thank those people who have sent me statements of support on text, Viber text, and all messaging platforms. No? I appreciate the statements of support.
Secretary, kamusta rin po yung suporta ng mga taga-DOJ mismo sa inyo?
I appreciate the support given to me by the DOJ and the fact that when this thing happened, people were worried, and we just said, we just go back to work because this will not change the flow of work that we have to do. Because the deadline, as I said yesterday in the flag raising, the deadline for things we have to do in the DOJ is yesterday. We have to really rush to work and finish these reforms that have to be laid out to make our justice system better. Prosecution system, correction system, investigative system, our system for pardon and parole, parole and probation. All of these matters that have to be threshed out. Our land registration, our immigration, things that the DOJ is on top of and has to be on top of to be able to guide these agencies which actually affect our quality of life as a country.
Maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Mabuhay po kayo and God bless po sa inyong lahat.